I must be honest, when I read the Gospel to prepare this sermon, I put my head in my hands. I thought, oh no, I wanted to give you all a happy sermon for the beginning of the year. Your lectures start tomorrow, the sun is shining. But Jesus is speaking about sin, hell, and people being thrown into the sea with a great stone tied round their neck. So that's this morning. And you see, I like to leave these difficult things until week 8. So just watch out. You can avoid week 8 if you want, because week 8 you've relaxed, you've got to know each other, you've got to know your priests and your chaplains, you know that there is going to be cake there in the conference room after Mass, whatever's happened during the sermon. So that's the time for difficult sermons, not today. Deep breath. Let's just look at this one word then. Okay, hell. Jesus says, if your hand should cause you to sin, cut it off. It is better for you to enter life crippled, maimed, than to have 2 hands and to go to hell. The word we use in our translation hell is the Greek Gehenna. It's the Hebrew, the valley of Hinnom, or the valley of the children of Hinnom. This is the small valley, it's an actual place. It's the small valley that cuts through the southwest of the ancient city of Jerusalem and is still there today. The symbolism is very rich. First, the symbol just of the valley. It's a very negative place in the Old Testament. It's a place of darkness, danger, violence. In a valley, you have no protection. You can be ambushed and attacked. You can't defend yourself from strangers, from brigands, from wild animals. But second, in this particular valley, the valley of Hinnom, for the ancient Canaanite tribes, it was a place of idolatry, the worship of Baal and Molech, and horrifically, it was a place of child sacrifice. They would burn their children to appease the gods. And then by the time of Jesus, as he stood there preaching, this valley was the municipal rubbish dump, where all of the mess and garbage and rot of the city, everything that has no value was left there. And the dirt and the stench and the uncleanliness that comes with that. So to sum up, this valley is not a happy place. It's about darkness, sacrifice, death and disease. And the message of Jesus today, to vastly oversimplify, but it's true, the message is, you don't want to go there. Now his teaching clearly is about sin and eternal life and the danger of losing that life forever. But his teaching is broader too. He's saying something to us about today and about your year. He's saying you are made for more than this. Don't get trapped. Don't get lost. You're made for happiness, peace, love and joy. You are a child of God. You're his beloved son or daughter. You're precious to him. You are made for glory, for the space and light and freedom of the plains, not the darkness and sadness of the valleys. Jesus says, in effect today, I've come to set you free from all of this. So there's the question, in the light of the gospel, what's going to give you life in this coming academic year? In your studies, your hall, your social life, your part-time work, what will give you life? I'm not going to tell you. Most of you I hardly know. But I pray that you can seek what is truly life-giving and be honest at the beginning of the year about the places of darkness, the dead ends, and look, just avoid them. Or if you're in them, get out of them. They are not happy places. This is about discernment. You probably know, I'm sure I've told it before, the story of the conversion of St. Ignatius of Loyola. A tough Spanish soldier, his leg is shattered with a cannonball in a battle. It gives him time to reflect when he's recuperating. He loved reading adventure stories of romance and chivalry and war. He enjoyed them, but he noticed that when he closed the book and got on with the rest of life, he felt empty and dissatisfied afterwards. But when he was reading about the lives of the saints and Christian history, when he was reading the Bible, the joy of the Christian life, he enjoyed reading. But when he finished and closed the book, there remained with him a kind of peace and joy that didn't disappear. There was something more life-giving here. The adventure stories seemed to be so exciting, but they were deceptive. The message here is not that you need to read the lives of the saints all day, every day. 5 minutes would be good, but not all day, every day. It's a message of discernment. Like Ignatius, look honestly at your day, at your week. What are the things you've enjoyed? Okay, fun, great. Did they give you life, and did that life and that joy stay with you? Or did it disappear like the clouds, which is a sign that maybe it's not so healthy and life-giving. Maybe it's a little bit deceptive. You have an instinct for this. It's about making the time to notice it a bit more honestly and being prayerful and courageous about what is truly life-giving and what isn't. So instead of telling you how to live, which I wouldn't dare to, I'm going to give you some tips for the beginning of the year. Okay, so just, you can make this into a little list, or maybe I'll put them on the Facebook site this afternoon. Here are my tips. How can you find life? First, as a young Catholic student, live your Catholic faith this year. Just the ordinary stuff, the basics. Come to Mass on Sundays. Have a little bit of time to pray in the morning and the evening. Try to live your Christian life with integrity, to follow the teaching of Jesus, the teaching of the Church, and of course going to confession every few weeks, because we all make mistakes. You don't have to come to Mass 10 times on Sunday. Once will do. You don't have to pray 20 rosaries. One will do. Or if you're struggling, just the Hail Mary at the end of the day. You don't have to, like my Nigerian friends, wear some magnificent Christian shirt with pictures of Jesus, Mary and St. Therese plastered over the front and the back. You don't have to do that. You can. But maybe put a crucifix in your room and have a cross or an icon somewhere that's precious to you. Ordinary stuff. These are the foundations of our life. As Jesus says, when we build our lives on His Word, on our Christian faith, it's like building a house on rock, and it's true for you as students. Second, don't just live this faith. Be proud of your Catholic Christian faith. Proud. There's so much talk on campuses today about identity politics, isn't there? Being proud of your identity, not ashamed, and being free to live and express it. And more recently, there's lots of talk about cultural appropriation, stealing traditions that don't belong to you. Well, this is your faith, your identity, your culture. You are a Christian. You are, most of you here, a Catholic. For you to have the confidence to be who you are, that's your identity politics. This is who you are. The courage to live it, not aggressively, but confidently and joyfully. Not, as we hear in the Bible, to hide it under a bucket, but to put it on the lampstand, so that all can see it, and when it's appropriate, that you want to share it. The confidence to be proud of your Catholic Christian faith. The third tip, to grow in your Catholic faith this year. To grow. This treasure that you have been given, you were given it at baptism. The most amazing gift, but so many Catholics have hardly begun to discover its meaning and richness, even with the routine of coming to Mass each Sunday. Many of you, to be frank, have got stuck in your faith. You got stuck when you came out of the font, or when you finished your first communion programme or your confirmation. Okay, that's life, but it's time to rectify it. And my advice is to do just one thing this semester that will help you to grow in your faith. Just one, but definitely one. To make a commitment. There is so much on offer for you in your Catholic societies, on your university campuses, and here at Newman House and in many other places for young adults around London. You want to grow intellectually, to actually understand with your head and your brain this great gift of faith, then come to the apologetics course on Tuesdays. You want to deepen your love for the Bible, or even open it for the first time, come to our Bible study. You want to deepen your prayer life, come to the sessions on prayer with Father Elijah on Wednesdays. You want to grow in connecting your faith, to take it out of the church, to connect it with art and beauty and culture. Come to our Wednesday evening sessions with Sister Carolyn on Christianity and the arts. You simply want to understand the basics of your faith, because you've never really got your head or heart round them, and you're not actually sure why you're here. Then come to Sycamore on Thursday evenings, because that's what we do. There are so many opportunities. Please don't do them all. Just do one. Fourth tip, live a life of service this year. So much of your focus will be on yourself, won't it? Your studies, your grades, your internship, your trying to get on in the world. There's a danger that you become a little bit self-obsessed, inward-looking, and even the things you do for others, you're doing them partly because you can put them on your CV. Well, I suggest that you just do one thing this term, this year, solely for others. One thing. It might be half an hour a week. It might be one of our volunteering projects that we organise here at Newman House, a wonderful portfolio of opportunities with Sister Carolyn and the team for you to choose something that fits with your life. It doesn't have to be a day a week. It might be half an hour, but there's one thing. It might be volunteering through your university, the amazing university services that you have. It might be something much simpler that you know is important for you in giving to your friends or family or people around you. See what seems right. See what interests you. It's not always possible, but wouldn't it be a blessing? And the final tip, well, this is Jesus, not me. Love your neighbour. Love your neighbour. But I give it specifically to you as a student going out into the world of campus and department and hall. Please, remember this year is not just about you. Reach out to others in kindness. You might feel that you are the newcomer, shy and nervous. But for all of us Catholics, it's to have a special care for others, wherever you are. You should be people who notice those around you who are a little bit lonely or new or lost, even if you're feeling the same. How can you reach out to them? How can you say hello, go the extra mile, step out of your group? It's great you're in a group. It's great you've made a buddy, but don't get lost or trapped in that group or that buddy or that relationship so that your heart is closed to other people. Yes, you're desperate to make friends. I remember week 1 at university. But I hope you're desperate to be a good friend to the people around you. And both are possible. I've been so moved by our outreach group this week. They've been on the streets with their yellow t-shirts, welcoming people to Newman House, speaking about their faith. This is not for everyone, but it's a symbol of what's meant to be in our hearts. Can I get a bit corny here? Put a yellow t-shirt on your heart if you're not going to wear it in the street, and have a heart for others. This is very concrete. Yes, we made up last night a 15-minute rule. For the 15 minutes after Mass, when you walk out the door, you are not allowed to talk to anyone you know. Right? Now, someone sitting on the sofa last night, who will remain nameless, said, "Oh no, I've got to talk to someone for 15 minutes non-stop." No, you don't have to talk to the same person for 15 minutes. You can talk to 15 different people in 15 minutes, but you must not know a single one of them. Right? And then I'll ring a bell at minute 16 and you can go and talk to your friends. That's the plan. This is not about rules. It's about an attitude of love. The Lord put me here for others, whoever I am, wherever I am. I want to live for Him, to live for others, and of course to live for myself. All together. This is what it means to come out of the valley. This is what it means to seek life and to come into the light.